Alright, welcome to BIOstaks, and in this tutorial I'm going to go over homeostasis, which is a really important topic which is covered in every single biology class which you will be taking in high school and middle school. So let's begin. So the key concept and the main idea to get from this topic is that organisms must maintain homeostasis to survive in diverse environments. So let's look at the definition so that things will get clarified. So homeostasis is the maintenance of constant internal conditions in an organism. So what does this really mean? Well, here, let's look at an example of normal age in the human body. So I looked it up, and the average human temperature is supposed to be around 37 degrees Celsius. So let's say that you have a fever, and if your temperature goes above 37 degrees, if it goes to up to, 41 or 42 degrees Celsius, then what will happen is your body will react to this rise in temperature, and it will try to get the temperature down to its original state, which is going to be at 37 degrees Celsius. So this is an example of homeostasis, in which the body is trying to maintain the constant temperature, and it's trying to get back the temperature down to 37 degrees Celsius. Another example is going to be cruise control in your car. Now, I don't know if you drive, but if you ask your parents, or if you do indeed drive, then you will see an option which says cruise control near your steering wheel. And what cruise control actually does is that it makes sure that the speed of the car remains constant. And usually cruise control is used on highways. I don't recommend using it other than highways on your everyday roads because it's dangerous. But anyway, so what this cruise control does is that it sets speed up to some number. So let's say that the speed limit on highway is 65 miles per hour, and I set the cruise control to 70 miles per hour. What this is doing is, if I apply brakes, if there is a car in front of me and I apply brakes, the cruise control will stop working and my speed will drop down, depending on how hard I apply my brakes. This is an example of homeostasis, because what's really happening is the car is trying to return the speed to its original state. So as you can see here, change in the system causes a response that tends to return that system to its original state. So as I apply brakes, the speed is going to come back to its original state, which is going to be assumably 0, because the car always starts from rest, right? Now there's a new definition that you need to understand and process it through your brain. Homeostasis is maintained through a process called negative feedback. And we will compare negative feedback to the positive feedback in just a second. But just make sure that homeostasis is maintained through a process called negative feedback. Alright, we're going to look at another example of homeostasis, which is found in polar bears, and you hear this every single time. So this is adapted from SeaWorld, so go ahead and check this link out if you're into it. But what's really interesting about polar bears is that their body temperature is around 37 degrees Celsius. It's similar to that of humans. Humans also have 37 degrees Celsius body temperature. I just told you that before. But what's really happening is polar bears are usually found in Antarctica, North Pole, South Pole, and the temperature is really extreme. It drops below freezing point numerous degrees Celsius. And to cope up with that temperature, the polar bears need to adjust to it, and they use homeostasis. So the fur, or the body of polar bears, is covered with fur, which basically maintains the body temperature. It adjusts the body temperature according to the temperature which is outside. So let's read through this paragraph here. Body temperature in polar bear, which is normally 37 degrees Celsius, is maintained through a thick layer of fur and an insulating fat layer which is up to 11 centimeters or 4.5 inches thick. This excellent insulation keeps the polar bear warm even when air temperature drops to negative 37 degrees Celsius, which is really interesting because it's really extreme temperature in Antarctica and North Pole, South Pole, and polar bear. What they do is really interesting. Alright, moving on. So, a few moments ago I told you the definition for negative feedback, and it's the process through which homeostasis is maintained. But we also need to look at positive feedback because it is complete opposite. And positive feedback is the response that strengthens the change in the controlled condition. So, to better understand what positive feedback is, we're going to look at an example. So, a man with a heart disease has his blood pressure closely measured. Grab the data in the space provided and indicate if it represents positive or negative feedback. So let's try to understand what's happening in this graph. So I can see that the time is increasing, so the data is taken throughout the day. At 7 a.m. his blood pressure was 200. At 9 a.m. it was 170. At 11 it was 130. And at 1 it was 70. So what's really happening is his body temperature is dropping down. So let's try to plot this on our graph. So we're going to go by intervals of 2. So we're going to start with 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 1. And we're gonna go by intervals of, I don't know, what should we go by? Let's go with intervals of, let's go with 30. So we have 30, 60, I don't know if it will fit, 90, 120, 150, 180, and then 210, which is going to be over here. We'll get through this. So at 7, I'm going to use a different color now. At 7, the body temperature was 200, so it was around here. At 8, it was at 190, so it was around here. At 9 o'clock it was at 170, so around here. At 10 o'clock it was at 150. Oops, I'm doing it wrong, hold up. Let me do the points again. Alright, so at 7 it was at 200. At 8 it was at 190. At 9 it was at 170. At 10 it was at 150. At 11 it was at 130. So I'm going to say around here. At 12 it was at 110. So 12, 110, so around there. Oops, 110, so it's going to be around here. Yep, 110. And at 1 it was at 70, so this is 60, so 70 would be around here. So as you can see, we have a trend. It's obviously decreasing. And you guys tell me, is it positive or negative feedback? Because let's look at the definition of positive feedback again. It's the response that strengthens the change in a controlled condition. And negative feedback is the process which basically maintains homeostasis. So pause the video and try to think this. Alright, so this example is actually negative feedback because the blood pressure is trying to get back to its original state. And it's not increasing, but rather it's decreasing. It's coming back to its original state. And that's why this example is going to be negative feedback. Alright, I hope you like this video. I recommend you guys to check this link out at the bottom of the page because that's where I got this problem from, and this is excellent practice to distinguish positive feedback from negative feedback. I hope you check it out, and I hope you enjoy the video. Have a good day.